Hi everyone, I'm so happy you're here. I'm so excited to share this post with you on the 7 paint and sip ideas for hosting ladies' night. This is a tea party table inspiration post. While yes, I know there's no tea, I feel like it can still be tea party inspired because a lot of the food that I'm making today are foods that you would find at a tea party, like the cucumber sandwiches or muffins, and so on and so forth. So, like I said earlier, I'm so happy that you're here, and I'm going to walk you through what my day looked like, trying to set this up, and the tips and tricks to make it as enjoyable of a night and aesthetically beautiful. Now, as you can see right now, I'm in the process of baking something. This is the muffins, the banana chocolate chip muffins that I made for this event, and they came out pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. I was having problems with my oven earlier that day, which kind of made them a little bit raw compared to what I wanted, but it all worked out because at the end of the day they tasted good, and that's what matters. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that really means a lot is if you enjoyed the process and if you enjoyed yourself during the event. And that's why I wanted to do this for the group of friends that I have. We try to get together about once a month, but with everyone's busy schedule, it doesn't always happen. And making it fun, making the get-togethers fun, like with this paint night, is a nice switch up from time to time. And so that's why I felt inspired to have a paint night, but we also have dinner. So my thought process was, okay, so how do I make this get together incorporate, have like food? And obviously we're not going to want to sit down for like a big meal and it's after work and everything. So I decided to keep the food light, like the cucumber sandwiches, muffins, maybe minus the dessert, but that's okay. You can't go wrong with having a fruit tart. I've been on a kick of those fruity desserts lately, and I gotta tell you, I am so upset with myself because when we were cleaning up later that night, I accidentally dropped it, and there was a good half of it left, and so I was so bummed out. Glad that it was me that dropped it. I wouldn't want to put that guilt on any of the other girls, but it was good too. So I was kind of a little bummed about that. But this leads me to my first point in hosting a paint night or paint and sip, and that's having the food. Yes, it's paint and sip, and you have the drink, obviously, in the title. But sometimes I feel like, you just like want to take a break, want to mull over the painting that you're doing, and you just want, a little something to complement it. And that's part of the thought process with having it tea party inspired and having little things to munch on in the process of painting our canvases. But the biggest thing to note here is to make it finger food, make it appetizer, something easy that you can pick up. Like I said, you don't want to sit down for a big meal or anything like that. And it will make it a lot easier, especially if space is limited. Speaking from personal experience, I was a little worried not having enough space to paint and eat. So having a big enough table is definitely much needed. I would say for the size table that I had, 4 people for that table was perfect. It would not have fit any other areas for painting or any other plates of different types of food. So keep that in mind if you decide to put this type of spin on your paint and sip and adding food, to make sure that the space is proportional to being able to eat and actually paint. And this leads me to my next point, which is the sip part of paint and sip. So whether you choose wine or tea, I guess it would really depend on the ladies that you are inviting, what their preferences are, but make sure that you have some type of special drink that will add to the overall feeling that you're trying to accomplish for the night. And for me, I love my wine, so it was definitely more of a paint and sip versus tea party in that aspect, but I mean, either way, you can't go wrong. Also, on a side note, get all of your cleaning done beforehand. Like, do the dishes, clean the kitchen, whatever it takes. It will make your life so much easier when you don't have to worry about it. I mean, obviously, when you have people over, you don't want them to think that you're a slob and have such a messy kitchen. But as far as being, how do I put this, efficient with time, it makes it so much easier if you just clean, do the dishes, make sure it's empty when you have people over, so in that way you can just easily fill it after everybody leaves. So for my next tip in hosting this paint and sip party would be to have rustic cottage dinnerware. And this can take the form of wooden platters. White is an excellent color to have in your dinnerware. You can also have metal. Just what I like to tell people, go to Marshall's, go to the home goods section. I'm sure you will find something that will fit the description of modern cottage. And for those of you that are wondering why modern cottage, why not farmhouse, why not vintage, why not contemporary, why not, I don't know, boho? And the answer is actually very simple. It's because modern cottage is kind of the overlap between all of those trendy styles. And what I mean is you can have something that is modern cottage and it can also fit into those other types of styles. And you can't always say the same for the other way around. Like, you can have a farmhouse styled, I don't know, we'll call it like a piece of furniture, but that doesn't make it modern cottage. Cottage is a little bit, I would say, not vintage, but it's kind of like the overlap between all of the different styles. So that is what makes it perfect for events like this, because it captures the attention and the appeal of anyone that you're setting it up for. It's kind of like a one size fits all. And to take it a step further, for my fourth tip, is to bring the femininity into the paint and sip girls' night. And I did that with these floral napkins that I found at Marshall's. And I also have these very elegant and graceful white disposable plates. I got these plates way back when from my wedding and had some extra, but I'm pretty sure you can just get them on Amazon or even Marshall's. But having that touch of girliness in the tablescape is really going to hit home the idea that this is a girls' night and it's meant to be fun. It's meant to be a get-together that everybody enjoys. So for my next paint and sip idea, I would highly recommend there be an emphasis on lighting. Now, many of you don't know this, but I actually went to school for art. That was one of the 2 majors that I majored in. And I even did my senior thesis and I did a painting. And I'm not gonna lie, lighting is huge. If you have bad lighting, then you can't see what you're painting. And granted, when we filmed this, it was late spring, so we didn't quite have the long days that we do right now when I'm recording this. But I ended up plugging in the string lights that we have going around the porch, and that makes a big difference. And not only that, but having those string lights, it kind of adds that ambience that is just so, I can't explain it. You feel good, So if you're setting up a paint and sip to have with your friends, think about the lighting. If it's outside and you can put up string lights, I highly recommend that. If you're inside, maybe think about having candles or some alternate source of lighting to really set the mood that you're trying to achieve. So for my 6th tip, I want to put a big emphasis on the painting essentials. Like I said earlier, I went to school for art, so as you can imagine and can see, I have a lot of art supplies. I did get the canvases and the easels for this event, but mostly everything else I've had since college. So I'm pretty happy that I finally got to get a use out of them. I feel like this is pretty unknown when I see a lot of other paint and sip ideas. But one of the bigger recommendations, being an art major and having painted a lot, would actually be those flat, they look like a piece of paper with the hole in them. Essentially what they are is they're disposable painting palettes. Super helpful because when you're done painting, you can just throw it away instead of having to clean the reusable ones. And the other beneficial thing from them, from my perspective, is you can mix directly on the sheet of paper, and it's a flat surface, so it lends itself to being able to mix directly on it versus the other little trays that you see where they have a section for each color. It's not as easy to mix on those. I'll put a link in the description for those of you that are interested. And so now finally, for the 7th idea for paint night would be to enjoy it with your friends, to have fun, to surround yourself with the people that are core individuals in your life. So that's it. Please hit that like button, subscribe. I'm so happy that you're here. Comment below if you did anything like this. I would love to hear it. Thanks again. Bye.